Hi, welcome to the podcast Ease into Clarity. I'm Dr. Divi, family doctor turned intuitive coach, and I'm here to help you. In this podcast, we will learn mental techniques, emotional techniques, and spiritual techniques to change daily problems. So maybe it's your husband, your boss, your coworker, your kids, they're driving you crazy. You can email me any of your questions, and I will use all the techniques I've learned over the years and help you. Grab your hot chocolate and make sure to subscribe. We'll see you soon. Ciao. Hello, and welcome to the podcast Ease into Clarity. My name is Dr. Divi, and I'm your host, and thank you so much for joining me. In my last podcast, we talked a lot about the body. We talked a bit about how we have these unconscious thoughts in us from childhood as to why we're sick. Today, we're going to dive in a little bit deeper, and we're going to talk specifically, I'm going to go through a 4-step process that if you're dealing with a constant health issue that's even a little bit niggly and kind of bothers you, as to how we can step out of it. If you like this podcast, I really recommend you recommend this one to your friends, because we all know people who have a chronic health issue. And these 4 steps can really, really start and begin their journey of self-healing. So let's talk a bit about this. Let's dive in. So let's get outside the medical realm just for a minute and remind ourselves of something that most of us have heard of in the self-development realm. A lot of us have heard of the idea that a thought creates an emotion creates a vibration then creates. We talked about in our last podcast how that's what we all do come January 1st. We start to create those vision boards and what we want to create. We put $1 million check on our fridge. We're like, that's going to be me. And we think about it when it comes to money and business and, even marriage. Like, I want to find the boyfriend of my dream. I read the list of things. But for some reason, when it comes to health in our body, we're like, yeah, okay, I've got to go fix that problem. And this podcast series is about having you open your mind that maybe there's a different way. And in these 4 steps, I'm going to go through how you can start to think things differently. So step 1, remind yourself of some of that basic stuff. Thought becomes emotion becomes vibration becomes manifestation. So that means if you're dealing with a chronic health issue, that means on some level, you must be a bit sloppy with a thought and emotion. And that emotion is then creating this health issue. Cool. The most dominant emotion that creates our health issues is powerlessness. And that's the one we're going to work on. So step 1, be open that your brain somehow is creating thoughts of powerlessness. And I'm stuck in that cycle. And we're going to get back to that. Step 2, notice how much your mind wants to outsource it and try to figure out what's going on. It's going down the rabbit hole of looking online and everything that's out there. We've gone down a rabbit hole of figuring out what's going on with the cells. Why is this happening? And there's nothing wrong with that, because that can be helpful up until a certain point. But I really want you in step 2 to notice how much time and energy you spend looking at what's going on in the body. What's it saying? What's wrong? And the more we spend time in that cellular makeup of what's wrong, the less we can actually do something metaphysically. The 3rd step is start to ask yourself, do I actually believe it's possible for me to shift this? Do I actually believe that it could be that simple? My thought created an emotion, the emotion created a vibration, the vibration created an illness. Could actually be that simple? Do I believe that I can actually shift this? Do I believe that I have the power in me to make a difference? Ask yourself that question right now. This is step 3. And if part of you is going, no, I'm not that powerful, then I can't help you. But if part of you believes that, maybe there's some hope here, then I want you to listen to step 4. Step 4 is the most important part. So step 1 talked about thought becomes emotion becomes vibration is the creation. And if you've got a chronic health issue going on, we've already determined that you're in the powerless place. Step 4 is the most important. Where do you feel powerless? Grab a pen and paper and start journaling. Where do I feel powerless in my life? And just write it down like crazy. Go to a coffee shop, buy a coffee or tea, and just write. If you need to get a refill, and just keep writing. I feel powerless around money. I feel powerless around relationship. I feel powerless about the banking system. I feel powerless at the wars in Gaza. Where do you feel powerless? And just keep writing. And what I'm trying to show you is how much those 40,000 thoughts a day are running the show. Okay. And the more pages you add up, the more you see how much the powerless stuff is affecting you. Now, this is the part where it's kind of what comes first, the ass or the tea kettle, whatever the expression is. People always get confused because it's like, okay, well, I feel powerless about my body. But what I'm here to tell you is you felt powerless before as well. Because people go down this rabbit hole of, well, I've got this pain in my foot. Then I can't walk very far. Then I can't run. Then I can't lose weight. And you're kind of down this rabbit hole. But you actually felt powerless before as well. But if you're only in powerlessness about the health issue, it's really hard to start to see that you felt powerless before, and that's okay. But if all the pages in your journal are filled with, I feel powerless because I can't walk, I feel powerless because I can't run, and then I can't lose weight, and then I feel powerless because nothing fits me, and I feel powerless because now I'm single, and you see how you're in the cycle. That's important to get to, but what I really want you to open up is you felt powerless before. I felt powerless around my father. I felt powerless around my job. I felt powerless at work. I felt powerless around money. Just fill those journals up and keep writing, keep writing, keep writing, keep writing, keep writing. The next part of this powerless trait, after you journaled from it, you filled out many, many journals. The next step, I've done this before. I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to start to notice that that's not who you are. If you can see that you've got a powerless part of you, this is very pivotal. I want you to see it's just part of you. But knowing that it's just part of you is pivotal because it's telling you it's not all of who you are. If part of you feels powerless, it means that not all of you is powerless. And there's a massive shift just in that. If not all of you is powerless, then you can shift something. Take a breath with that for a second. If not all of you is powerless, then you can shift something. A part of me feels powerless because my foot hurts, then I can't walk, then I feel like I can't lose weight, then I feel stuck. And now the key is that is just a part of me. I filled 4 journals on feeling powerless, but that is just a part of me. And that's not even all of who I am. Take a breath with that. You're right now as we're talking, this is the biggest part of self-healing. If I am not that thought, then who am I? I am the witness that I have that thought. And if you can actually hold that for 1 second, then I can gently guide you down a different path where you can start to heal. But this, again, I'll say it 1,000 times. This is the pivotal moment where you go, stop. All of me is not powerless. But the ego that loves the powerless story is like a massive tsunami that loves and gets really swept up in that current of energy. And as you get swept up in that current of energy, you can't make change. But if you can start to stop and look outside of you, go, oh, wow, that is just a part of me, but it's not all of me. The idea that it's not all of you is where change is going to occur. So that's the first part of dealing with the powerless part. Now let's go to the next part. There's a part of me that does believe I'm powerful. There's a part of me that knows that I can choose my thoughts. There's a part of me who can sit here and go, wow, I'm so powerful that I can start to think what a glorious day it is right now. There's a part of me who can start to think, I am lucky to be alive. There's a part of me who can start to have gratitude for my breath. There's a part of me who can start to believe that my heart is pumping without me thinking. There's a part of me who remembers the air is entering my body without me thinking. And do you notice when I do that, I've totally changed tracks. I've totally stepped out of the powerless. And I just did it for about less than 30 to 40 seconds. And if you're willing to keep doing what I just described, then you're starting to have choice in thought. You're starting to build the gratitude muscle. You're starting to find where power does exist. I have power to choose this food or that food. I have power to choose this thought or that thought. And that is where that pivotal shift occurs. And that is when you start to heal. And that in itself is massive, massive. So I'm going to review this again. We talked about how there's 4 big steps in healing. I'm going to review them. And then I'm going to spend more time in the powerless. Number 1, remind yourself, thought becomes emotion, emotion becomes vibration, vibration creates manifestation. The emotion must be powerless if I'm spending a lot of time chronically sick. Step 2, notice how much I am going down the rabbit hole of trying to figure out what's going on microscopically, and I can't get anywhere. I got to figure out what medication to take. I got to figure out the offset that medication, and you're just down this rabbit hole, and there's no solution there. Step 3, can I believe I am that powerful that I can heal this? Can I believe that my thought created this? If you can get there, then I can go to step 4. Step 4 is to dump into the journals, 5 journals, 10 journals, all the powerless step thoughts. Now, this is all in the powerless healing. Step out of those journals and go, okay, I'm not that powerless thought. I am not that. Now we're working. Now I'm going to pivot. What else can I think about? I can think thoughts of gratitude. I can think thoughts of love. I can think thoughts of ease. I can think I am not this body. I think I am in these breath. And if you go down that pathway, that's when you're going to start to heal. We have to take the focus off the powerless part and put more attention on this other part of you. Then you're going to be rocking and rolling. Sit with that for a minute. That sounded complicated, but it actually isn't. And my biggest request for you, from me, is for you to share this with 5 of your friends that struggle with powerlessness. Because powerlessness is epidemic in our culture. It's epidemic when it comes to healing. So epidemic that we go down so many rabbit holes to heal. And yet it is within each and every one of us by shifting our thought forms to where we do have power. I'm sending you so much love from Dr. Divi and the podcast, Ease into Clarity. Have the most magnificent day ever. Thank you so much for joining me in this podcast, Ease into Clarity. It is such a joy, pleasure, and honor to be in your living room. What I would love is if you follow me on Instagram, DRDIVI, or go to my website, drdivi.com, or write a review. That would be even more amazing. Thank you. If you really enjoyed this podcast, feel free to share it with friends, family, tell them to follow me, because I think the more of us that listen to the fact that each of us can start to shift, each of us can shift mental things, emotional things, spiritual shift, to shift our daily reality. When more and more of us do it, we get a better planet. We get more love. We get more happiness. We get more joy. So I'd love it if you followed. I'd love it if you shared this, because it would be such a joy and an honor. And again, if you have a question, guess what? I'm here for you. So send me an email, easeintoclarity@gmail.com. And as they come in, I will answer them in podcasts that are subsequent, whether it be your boss, your relationship, your husband, whatever. That's what I'm here for. Because the more of us that learn really simple mental techniques, really simple spiritual techniques, we change the physical reality we live in. Pretty soon we have more peace, more ease, more joy trickling across the whole world. Remember, there's a spiritual solution for every problem. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.